We talk a lot about elevator pitches, and today we have a long elevator pitch, 2.5 minutes to give us your idea, and then we're going to get some questions from our jury, who I'll introduce in a moment. And then tonight at 6:30, we'll announce the winner, an award that comes with a €30,000 prize. There's a lot at stake here. Good luck, guys. Let's start with our first finalist, BioWatch, in the category Applied FinTech. Congratulations, BioWatch. In the category of Photonics 4.0, Bottle Technologies. In the category of Connected Mobility, Geospin. In the category Health Tech, HealNet. In the category Photonics 4.0, IOXP. In the category Applied FinTech, Cantox. In the category of Health Tech, Noviosense. In the category Photonics 4.0, Otego. Also in the category of Photonics 4.0, Urban Alps. And finally, in the category Photonics 4.0, Xerion. These 10 startups were selected by our jury. They came from almost 40 countries. It was a lot of applications. You are about to meet the very best startups that we could find for you in the world. I want to go ahead and introduce our jury who's going to be awarding this €30,000 prize, beginning with the head of our jury, Ulrich Dietz, the founder and CEO of GFT Technologies and the initiator of Code N. Also on our jury, you just heard from him on this panel, Frank Riemensberger. He's the Senior Managing Director at Accenture in Germany and in Switzerland. Our next jury member, Frank Schlie-Rosen. He's the head of the Photonics Division at the German Ministry of Education and Research. He knows a lot about photonics, which is good because we have a lot of photonics startups on our finalist list. Also joining us on the jury is Carsten Knopp. He's the senior business editor of one of the most prestigious newspapers here in Germany, the FAZ. I hope some of you read it this morning. We also have Peter Weibler. He's the chairman and CEO of this fantastic space, the Center for Art and Media in Karlsruhe. We're also joined by Volkhard Bragula. He's the leader of HP's global account in the manufacturing industry and the Internet of Things, bringing his expertise to our jury today. We also have, you just heard from her on our panel, you saw her yesterday, she is an all-purpose woman. We're so pleased to have her also on our jury. Martina Mertz, she's on the board of directors at Lufthansa, Volvo, and SAF Holland, among others. We also have Peter Leibinger. He's the vice chairman of Trump and the president of the Laser Technology and Electronics Division. Welcome and thank you to our jury for taking the time to be with us here today. So, without further ado, you have heard enough from me. It is time to hear from our finalists. Let's get 2.5 minutes on the clock. They're going to give you their elevator pitch. Afterwards, our jury has 2.5 minutes to ask questions, to clarify, to help them in their decision-making process. I'm going to bring up our first startup, BioWatch, in the cluster of applied FinTech. 2.5 minutes on the clock. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. What a nice audience. Thank you. So I'm Mark from BioWatch. At BioWatch, we want to imagine a world without any password, PIN codes, and any cards. We try to get rid of all your tokens that help prove your identity. Think about your iPhone today. You've got 2 million apps that enable to unlock your car, make a payment. Your iPhone basically became a digital gatekeeper to your identity. But it is somehow extremely inconvenient for the users to validate using the fingerprint 100 or 150 times a day a service or a connection to a product. At BioWatch, we want to simplify this, and we developed a smart device That is a single identifier. You activate this device using not a fingerprint, but the unique patterns on the veins on the wrist. It's a one-time authentication when the user puts on the watch, and as long as the clasp of the bracelet remains closed, this device automatically communicates your digital identity to connected objects. Thus, you can unlock a car, you can make a payment without any passwords, without PIN codes, without badges anymore. We've got the following go-to-market. We are selling the solution to B2B, to corporate companies with whom we co-develop solutions. And then, in turn, those companies will retail the product to the end users. We are also going to license our technology to smart watchmakers and to smart band makers. Finally, we will have in the long term an app-based type of revenue. Think that whenever the user wants to unlock a service, there will be the possibility to charge this with a commission. We have traction from the market, from the biggest bank, Crédit Agricole in France, for example, with whom we're developing 500 products for next year. We've got car manufacturers, we've got people active in the IoT. We want to embark people, for example, in the travel market. Think about digital boarding pass embedded directly in BeerWatch. The team is 7 people, 7 full-time people, among which the inventor of vein biometric recognition, Mr. Joe Rice, 7 patents covering the technology, and also we are about to close our seed round, 1.2 million Swiss francs by mid of October. Thank you.
Time. That is 2.5 minutes for BioWatch. The floor goes to our jury. Thank you very much. Stay here, you got questions to answer, my dear. Our jury, questions for BioWatch. We have a microphone here, don't be shy.
Who wants to invest?
Seems to go well. What's your biggest challenge to master ahead?
So the biggest challenge is to convince all those different service providers to make them compatible with us so we can offer the widest ecosystem possible to the end user.
Okay, Frank, and then to you.
There are several.
Oh, sorry, microphone is wild. Okay, you go ahead, HP.
There are several similar technologies in the market. So how do you want to ensure that your technology will actually make it? How do you want to ensure that your technology is spreading fast enough to occupy the market?
Yeah. So we are the only ones having using the veins on the wrist on the wearable. So this is patented. We are the only one occupying this area. Having said that, we've got competitors having basically the same vision, but using other biometric traits like ECG and the heartbeats. And you understand that this is not as secure as veins because simply this varies along the day. Let's say that you're under stress or you run to catch the bus, your ECG will vary and there will be some failure to enroll with that technology.
Frank Ramensberger.
Do you have a significant launch customer?
Say it again, a significant?
Launch customer, a client which is starting this service with you.
Yes, yeah, we can say Crédit Agricole is our best ambassador. That's the early adopter that we have today. We started collaboration with them something like a year ago, and they committed to order 500 prototypes for internet piloting. They want to do wearable payment using BeerWatch.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions. I hope our jury got a good impression of you. Good luck to you. Let's bring up our next startup in the category of photonics. Please welcome Bottle Technologies. Let's get 2.5 minutes on the clock. Good luck to you, Bottle Technologies.
Hello, everyone. I would like you to imagine yourself in the iconic Apple store in New York on a hot summer day. Now imagine someone comes in and changes the appearance of the room to dim or color blue or any other color, for example. Now imagine the same scenario where the appearance of the room remains the same, but the temperature starts falling down. Now imagine you're walking down the aisle and these video promotions, images start appearing on the wall. You have a phone where you don't need a backlight to show the image. Essentially, these backlight consumes more than 90% of the energy of the phone. So you can charge your phone just once a month. Now, surely this is a rosy picture, but it is all possible. And that's what we do at Bottle Technologies. We manipulate light. The research we published in the journal Nature in 2014 describes this revolutionary ultra-thin devices which can manipulate light by using an electrical, optical, or a mechanical excitation. These unprecedented devices can steer, dim, or filter any range of wavelength by just a flick of a switch. And the most important thing about this is that it doesn't require any energy once the switching is complete. We are a spin-out from the University of Oxford, started in December last year, and we are completely funded by local VCs at the moment. We have a group of 11 people working on it, and we are growing fast. So if you have any advices, suggestions, I'll be happy to answer that. And any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
You finished in 1:50. That is a lot faster than I was expecting. A very compact presentation. Let's open the floor to our jury. Questions?
How is your business model? How you're planning to make money out of it? It's a cool technology, but how you will make money with it?
Yeah, so we are looking into displays at the moment. We are trying to develop these high-resolution displays, plus these displays which don't need any energy to show you an image. So we are talking to most of the displays companies you can think of. They're all backing us. And we are also looking into smart windows. For example, in winters, for example, you would want infrared rays to come in and heat your room. In summers, you would want these rays to be reflected back. You want to save in your air conditioning. So with our devices, we can design these materials to specifically reflect or filter infrared rays by just a switch. And you don't need any energy to maintain that. So that'll be windows, smart windows in a true sense. And we are also looking into security applications, where in futuristic currency, where in plastic notes, you need these thin films which should look of a very definite color under certain conditions, and with high resolutions, which is hard to replicate. So it's all possible to do with our technology.
Okay, any more questions from our jury? Yes, here, Mr. Leibinger.
If your technology is so bulletproof, why hasn't Samsung bought you yet?
Ooh.
Well, we're talking, we've been very careful with this. We are trying to build our own IP landscape, and we are talking to a lot of display companies. And we think we should develop on our own for some time before we are at a point where we sell ourselves to someone else.
Yeah.
What is your business model? I mean, are you producing the devices yourself, or are you licensing the technology, or what is your business model?
So at the moment, we are developing our first prototypes, and we hope to license our technology to all display companies or other established companies. But we will also have our own small display devices to begin with. And once we can show that, we'll move on to a bigger market.
Okay, that is all the questions we have time for. Bottle Technologies in the category of photonics. Good luck to you. Leave the microphone here. Let's bring up our next startup, Geospin, in the cluster of connected mobility. 2.5 minutes. Good luck.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Niklas. I'm from Geospin. You all know big data and how it will change the world, right? In our case, we think in the whole big data cosmos, there's one kind of data that doesn't get the attention it deserves. And in our case, it's geospatial data. Our vision is that in future, companies won't make decisions without considering any more. Okay, our vision is that in futures, companies won't make decisions without considering geospatial data and the analysis on top of it. When and where will the demand will be at the highest level? And the most important question, why is it changing in time and in location? Customers have found answers to these questions every day and have to react on all kind of events in order to adjust their strategy and find the right decision, because decision costs money. We at GeoSpin help to find the right answers. To do that, we combine external data, for example, traffic data, point of interests, weather data, and combine that with internal company data. Our algorithm computes and identifies so-called geographical key performance indicators, or short GKPIs, which then can be used to explain the behavior of a certain environment. We offer this algorithm as an API to our customers, which can be included into the company's backend. And with this, we hope to, we try to lift the potential, the hidden potential of every internal data within companies and available external data. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, GeoSpin. Ulrich Dietz has a question. Let's get Ulrich Dietz the microphone. Right here.
Hi. How do you want to make money with your stuff?
Sorry?
How do you want to make money with your application?
Yeah, we have
How you can make money?
How we make money, yeah. We have a hybrid approach. In the first phase, we have an initial project with our customers where we define the problem setting and all. And then we adjust our algorithm. And then we offer our algorithm as an API. And this is license-based.
Okay, Carsten Knopf.
What do you mean with spatial intelligence or spatial component?
Imagine you're a company who wants to, or a car sharing company, okay, who wants to plant some cars within the city. And we can tell you where you should place your cars in order to increase the demand of the cars. So everything around location-based information, location-based services.
Okay, how would you assess your competitive environment? It must be rather tough, I guess.
Yeah, it is tough.
Careful.
Especially if you, I mean, Google and so on does have the capacity to do this almost the same if they want to. Right now, in our environment, in the geospatial marketing branch, we are the first one who do the analysis with machine learning in the background, and this is new in this market.
Any other questions? Okay, looks like our jury is satisfied. GeoSpin, thank you very much for your pitch in the cluster of connected mobility. Up next, I am pleased to welcome in the category of health tech, please welcome HealNet, 2.5 minutes.
Hello. So imagine you would know everything about your health status without the need to go to the doctor. Imagine you can do this from home. Imagine you have kind of a 24-hour nurse at home to provide you with all the basic information you need to get a primary diagnosis. We at HealNet created a voice control and home-based multi-vital parameter platform device to give you exactly this kind of information. We are aiming to bring clinical health data into your home in a way very easy to understand. Our device measures up to 7 vital parameters by just grabbing it with 2 hands for 5 to 10 seconds. And this data will then be used to create a physiological baseline of your health and enabled to react before diseases become life-threatening. We are using a great technology called Heartbeat ID. Heartbeat ID allows to identify each individual's, which brings you to the point that many people can use one device. For example, all your family members. We are going to distribute B2B as well as B2C and direct as well as indirect through retailers. But this needs a bit of further development. So we are still in the seed stage, which means that we are currently looking for angel investors to be ready to run our clinical trials. We already have a hospital ready which would run the clinical trials with us as soon as we have the seed money ready. And this is our main priority at the moment. And on top of this, we are going to be the first healthcare startup ever to run a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter. And with the help of this campaign, with the help of the seed money and the trials, we are getting closer to our vision of saving lives from people all around the world. Thank you.
Okay. Matt, you still got 25 seconds on the clock. You Germans are prompt. Let's get some questions from our jury for Matt. There we go, Mr. Leivinger. Let's get him a microphone.
In the medical field, of course, the approval, government approvals, FDA, etc., are a major obstacle.
Yes.
How large is this obstacle for your application?
We can tell you more about after we did the clinical trials. So we are based in San Diego. So we have the problem with the FDA, and we at the moment have a 5010K approval, which gives you a regulatory device, a low risk and phase 2 device, where you can use this device for the clinical trials. And after the clinical trials, our main obstacle is to get the FDA approval. And yeah, we have to see the clinical trials and develop further to see how big this obstacle really is.
How good is your analytics? Because it's not about reading the data, it's about the analytics, recognizing what's going on. And how would your product compete against the Philips medical monitoring system released this year in April?
Yeah, I mean, we are home-based and we are voice-controlled, so it's very easy to understand all our measurements. And after the clinical trials, we are for sure making our measurements much better and the accuracy of the measurements. But the point is that we are very easy to understand, so you don't have to be very good in any analysis or something. So our algorithms are quite easy and voice-controlled, so it's very easy to understand for everyone.
So I think the question before was a little bit more on the analytics. So you said you have 7 measures. If I get the 7 measures as a patient or as a user of the device, I don't know what the values I have mean for me. So it's basically the analytics which, kind of correlate this data and give an exact diagnosis. How good is your analytics there? So once more the same question.
It's like, I don't really know what I should answer now. Like, what do you mean? What kind of the accuracy of the analytics or?
To get a result, you have 7 measures, you said?
Yeah.
To get a result, what those 7 measures really mean for me.
Ah, sorry. Okay.
That's analytics.
You get a baseline of your health. Like we have +3 and -3 and 0. So your baseline is on 0, and you do it like each day after you get up. For example, you just touch it for 5 to 10 seconds, and then you get a baseline. If you are quite good at the moment or bad at the moment, and if there's something wrong with your heart, for example, it's also for preventative care. Then the device can also set an alarm and tells you should go to the doctor. There could be something wrong with your heart or with your health.
Okay, Carsten.
Well, you skipped the answer on the Philips device. And what's about with your competitors, Canada Scout? Are they in any way ahead of you?
They are ahead of us. They did their crowdfunding campaign in 2013 and they were very successful with it, but they are created for the most technical 100,000, and we are saying about us that we are created for the more 100 millions, because it's very easy to use. Where it's like a shape of a ball, a small basketball. You can imagine a small basketball, you just touch it for 5 to 10 seconds and it tells you your health. So it's quite easy. This is compared to Scanadu, the easier way to do it.
Okay, I think we're about out of time here. Matt, thank you very much for your pitch. Good luck to you. Up next in the field of Photonics 4.0, please welcome IOXP to the stage.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Augmented reality is one of the key components of the 4th industrial revolution, which here goes under the term Industry 4.0. And one of its main goals is assisting service technicians, industrial workers, maintenance workers in an interactive way, step by step, through work processes. But still today, these systems severely suffer from the content creation problem. So you probably in several industrial fairs seen dozens of shiny AR demos, but what you haven't seen is that those were created by an entire team of interdisciplinary experts that handcrafted these systems. And what we have created is a system that learns manual workflows from observation. So whenever a worker encounters a problem for the first time, he simply records the steps of the solution using a head-worn camera or a fixed camera. And using machine learning and artificial intelligence, our system breaks down this recording into the single steps, analyzes these steps, extracts, gets a basic understanding of the task goals of each step. So was a component inserted, extracted, manipulated with, and automatically creates a model of entire workflows and puts that into a central knowledge base of service procedures, for example. And using that with the touch of a button, we can create process graphs, we can create traditional printable process documentation, and we can create interactive augmented reality assistance systems. And since our system has an understanding of the task goals and the changes, it can even recognize errors in conduction during usage. And this is a tremendously important use case when quality is crucial, most importantly during production use cases. So we think it's the most advanced documentation and training solution on the market right now, and we all invite you to see for yourself in our live demo next doors. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, IOXP. Questions from the jury. Martina, please.
Can you please name your first adopters, first customers, lead customers?
I mean, among our first adopters, one that went with us actually to the press was Bosch diesel systems in Hamburg, and they use it basically, or it's currently in the pilot phase there, where it's used to aid their production systems and increase quality, which aid training. I don't want to say anything about the high quality of Bosch production facilities, which is
careful here
in effect right now already, of course.
Another question from the jury. Can we get the microphone? Yeah, it's Mr. Liebinger.
As always, the question about the business model. What is your business model? Licensing?
Yeah, it's basically a software as a service licensing model that we mostly focus on. And the basic USP is that basically we can get out of the loop, since the documentation processes can be done by the domain experts. We don't have to implement each and every station or worker system. Basically, the people knowledgeable in the process can do it for themselves. So it scales pretty well after it was once piloted at a customer.
We have time for one more question. Looks like you've satisfied our jury. IOXP, thank you very much for your pitch. We're moving right along. We have 5 startups behind us. We have 5 before us. Please welcome to the stage in the category of Applied FinTech Cantox. Here you go.
Hello everybody, I'm Michael from Cantox. I'm happy to give you some more details about Cantox. Cantox provides solutions to mid-sized companies that help them manage their foreign currency needs, and more importantly, help them manage their foreign currency risk that come with those needs. When Cantox was founded in 2011, the founding idea was quite simple but powerful. We wanted to provide a way for companies to exchange currencies in a more easy, in a more efficient, and most importantly, in a more transparent way. So far, that approach has been quite successful. We have about 2,000 clients worldwide in more than 30 countries that have exchanged about $3.5 billion into different currencies. While beating banks and FX brokers on their currency rate games that they play, was a very, very good first step for us in the right direction, we soon realized that many companies really struggle to manage the risk that comes with foreign currencies, really properly. And this is when the second phase of our development started. We developed the solutions that help them manage their currency risk in a fully automated way. So our solution connects to their backend system in a very easy API. We take their transactional data and in real time measure the exposure, execute the hedges, and if you want, also execute the payments and report back the results. So it is a really powerful straight-through processing solution. We have our first trial customers live since a couple of months, and we have started to roll out this solution globally now in the sales organization. In the meanwhile, we have won new customers in the travel industry, in e-commerce, in edtech, and we see a lot of potential for this. The real value, as I said, is really the risk reduction for those companies. We are protecting their margins. It is cost efficiency. In most cases, they save a lot of money in their foreign exchange transactions. And it's an efficiency gains that they're having from an operational perspective. With this step also, our relationship to banks changed slightly. As I said at the beginning, we started off as clear competitors, but we see now a good opportunity for cooperating with banks, with consulting companies, and the solution allows us to address larger and larger clients. Thank you very much.
The elevator doors are closing on Cantox. Let's open the floor to our jury. Questions, please. Bernd.
First question.
Yes.
Actually, it's a double question. What really differentiates you from the banks and the insurance companies who offer similar services? So what makes your service unique and different?
Yeah. So we don't consider ourselves really as a bank or a financial service provider, although we are regulated. We see ourselves as a software company. So what makes us really unique is this combination of the software expertise, the transaction platform that we can provide, and our specific expertise in foreign exchange. So this combination of those three elements is quite unique if you think about it. And our business model is almost more like a software company than like a bank. And that is quite a big difference.
Next question. Nothing? Our jury, Ulrich Dietz.
Who are the competitors of these kind of solutions, right? Who are the competitors for these kind of solutions right now?
Okay, so, I mean, of course, competitors are banks who do have solutions, but none of the banks have really solution for mid-sized companies. So from that perspective, for that target segment, banks are not really a competitor. You could think that software companies are a competitor, that there are treasury management solutions out there on the market, but these don't provide the possibility to do the straight-through processing because they are not regulated. Therefore, it's really hard to see any single competitor that has this combination of software expertise, regulated bank expertise, and the transaction platform.
One more question?
Thank you. From what you said, I have the idea that you are growing. So how are you financing growth?
Yes. So we had two financing rounds so far. We are about to prepare the round C now, probably targeting the next 6 months for this process. We're so far, our main investors are Partech and ID Invest, and so we believe we are at the moment well funded.
Well funded and also out of time, sadly. Thank you very much, Cantox. I'll take that microphone. Thank you. You can always tell who likes the spotlight because they'll take the mic with them. Please welcome our next startup, NovioSense, in the cluster Health Tech. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. How cool is this? I'm really having a great time. And I get to pitch next to a DeLorean. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Okay, so NovioSense, we're a medical device company. I have a great job because everybody understands diabetes. Diabetes is a big problem. I'm also a diabetic. I'm a type 2 diabetic. And I have two options. I can prick my finger, or I can use something like this, which is a little device that goes through my skin. Needle comes in, comes out, leaves this behind, and it can connect with a Bluetooth connection to a device and measure my glucose. I like this. Problem is I've got two small kids, and this lasts about 10 minutes before it gets pulled out. I might not look like it, but I'd like to do some sport as well. I do some sport, I sweat, this comes out. So actually this is not a good solution. So what we want to do is we want to change the way that people manage their diabetes. I hope that you can't see this. This is our device. It's a tiny spring. It goes here in your lower eyelid, and then you take any NFC-equipped cell phone, you unlock it, ping, you get your glucose measurement. So NoviaSense is about delivering a glucose monitor at a price point that every diabetic can take in a way that you can bring your own device and you put it somewhere where it lasts. So we were founded in 2012. We've had 4 rounds of investment. This is not so new anymore, but this week we closed our 4th round. So last year we did our first clinical trial to bring in data on how people feel when they wear the device, what they like about the device, what they don't like about the device. And now we've just closed our 4th financing round. We're going to bring in the clinical validation of the device, and we expect to be on the market in 2019. We have 2 options with our business model. The boring one, which is we sell like everybody else, a device which goes in the eye at a lower price point. Or I want to talk with people like Accenture, with Hewlett-Packard, and we think that we can offer a Netflix-type subscription. You don't think twice about taking a Netflix subscription, 10 euros a month, so why would you for your diabetes? That's NoviaSense. Thank you very much.
Thanks. That was a slick pitch. I can tell you've done this before. Carsten Knopp.
Why should a company like HP be your partner and not Sanofi or Eli Lilly?
Oh, absolutely, Sanofi and Eli Lilly can be. We've talked with Sanofi. The only reason Sanofi wants to work with us is to sell more insulin. So yeah, it can be. Sanofi's worked with glucose monitor companies before. They took the BG Star. It wasn't such a great success. But we have a whole bunch of options. The nice thing about us is we've talked to everyone. We've talked with Samsung, we've talked with the pharma companies, and we've talked with the traditional guys. So we're quite open.
Okay, great. HP.
And how do you differentiate against other non-invasive glucose monitor, which are also currently in the FDA approval process? So what do you think will help you to differentiate?
I think the key point you've got there is still in the process. So you have the optical guys, and the optical guys always say we can measure glucose, and they can, absolutely. Then you start to drill down into the accuracy, and what you figure out with every optical method I've looked at, you can't get an accuracy below 4 millimole, which is the hypoglycemic region. That's the bit that kills people. So we're non-invasive, but we use exactly the same technology as in a finger strip. We developed our own coating. We have better accuracy than Medtronic with our invasive device, and we perform better against the interferences.
Okay, Frank from Accenture.
Yeah, here we go. I'm intrigued by the Netflix option. Few questions. Again, analytics. So rather than measuring, can you tell the patient something is going to happen to him in the next 4, 5, 6 hours? Number 1, and number 2, what is your capability of your smartphone interface? You have something between the doctor and the customers. Any thinking around that one? How to exploit it?
Yeah, absolutely. What I would say is, you know more about that than we do, and that's why we signed an NDA with you guys last year. On the analytics side, I think it's important, but we're a device manufacturer. What we know is that people can do analytics better than we can. So that's the key thing. On the patient to doctor, actually this morning we had some interesting discussions on narrowband IoT, and whether or not you think about, you send the data to the phone, but whether or not you also can then centralize that and have data from the device direct to the patient. What we know is that clinicians don't want to have every single measurement every point of the day. So the data has to be fed in the right way to the different stakeholders.
Okay, I think there's a question from Peter Leibinger from Trump.
How comfortable is it to wear this device? This could break your whole business model if people just don't want to put it in. It does not look comfortable, honestly.
I know, and that's why my first clinical trial was putting the device in somebody's eye for them to wear it to see whether it's comfortable. We expected that it would feel like a contact lens. We expected that we would bring the patients in after 15 minutes and we'd have a discussion about, don't worry, it's supposed to feel like this. We brought the patients in after 15 minutes and everybody said, we can't feel it. So what the hypothesis is that on the front of your eye you have a higher concentration of nerves than you do down here in the lower conjunctival fornix. So you really don't feel it. And we have some pretty good ophthalmologists that figured out exactly the right shape, the physical properties and the positioning so that you get it in the right place that you don't feel it. And you can get it out super easy as well. If you push gently in the right place, it comes out.
All right, that is all the time we have for NovioSense. Thank you very much for your pitch. Leave the microphone with me. In the cluster of Photonics 4.0, please welcome Otego. Welcome.
Hello. All right. First, please let me take down my iron. Before the pitch, I just iron my shirt, and it's still a bit hot. All right, that's better. Hi, I'm Frederick from Otego, and I want to show you a way how to collect energy for the Internet of Things. First, what's the Internet of Things? Of course, it's a lot of data and a lot of algorithms, but most noticeable, it's a huge amount of connected devices. Most of them are wireless, and it's already here. But apparently, this is just the beginning. In the future, pretty much every item of our personal life is going to be connected to the Internet. And same goes for the industry. Everything becomes smarter and smarter. But there's one question nobody really has answered yet. It's the question of how are all of these devices going to be powered with energy? Of course, today we have batteries, but think of how many batteries you're already replacing today or recharging. Is this really going to be an option for, let's say, 100 times as many devices in the future? And think of the environment. I mean, most of the batteries are just thrown away into the garbage, and they're not being recycled, although we all know they contain heavy metals. So Otego has invented a solution for this battery problem. Instead of using the stored energy in batteries, we could also use the energy that is around us. It's called energy harvesting. And actually, a sort of energy that's very present is heat. And Otego has invented a so-called thermoelectric generator that transforms this heat into electricity. And it's not a big machine. It's actually this sugar cube size generator. And if you put this generator into a temperature difference, it will produce electricity, just like that, without any moving parts. All right, let's take a simple device of the Internet of Things, like this wireless temperature sensor. It connects to my smartphone via Bluetooth, and it just simply gives me a temperature value. All right, then let's measure something. What about my iron here? Yeah, it's still a little bit warm. Let's see what my smartphone says. Yeah, it's still 45 degrees. All right, but now comes the interesting part. Where does the sensor get its energy from? Well, you guess. We put some of our generators in there, and they use the heat of the iron, transform it into electricity, and power the whole sensor self-sufficient, so no battery replacements ever needed. And like this wireless temperature sensor, there's going to be millions of devices that are powered with our generator. We are Otego, and we are collecting energy for the Internet of Things. Thank you very much.
All right, Otego. Let's collect some questions from our jury now. Who has the questions for Otego? Ulrich, yeah.
So what's your business model? How do you want to make money?
Yes, we are actually going to produce these generators. We're building up a pilot production line for 1 million generators. We are developing the materials. This is our invention. And with this disruptive technology, we're going to hit the market in 2 years.
Martina Merz.
With that 1 million production line, what's the price tag, your target price in a mass market and at the beginning? Thank you.
Of course, we have to compete with a battery, and that was the problem with this technology all the way throughout the last centuries. And our target price is €1.50 per generator.
Okay,
excuse me?
Here?
As a mass production price?
Yes, a mass production price.
Okay, and what temperature do you need to actually generate sufficient electricity to power such a 1.5 or 3 volt sensor?
So the voltage is not the problem, the power is actually the problem. With this temperature sensor, a very simple one, I think it stops at like 40 degrees. So we need a temperature difference of like 15 to 20 degrees to power a really, really simple sensor.
Carsten Knopf?
You already got the money for your production plants?
Yeah, we're funded by public funding from the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs, the German Federal Ministry. And we're looking for funding actually mid of next year for the finalization of our production.
There's time for one more question. Our jury appears to be satisfied. Ottego, thank you very much for your pitch.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have 8 down and 2 to go. Please welcome in the cluster of Photonics 4.0, Urban Alps. Welcome and good luck. 2.5 minutes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and I'm co-founder of Urban Alps, where we make high-security products from Switzerland for the city. So did you know that today, with so many 3D scanners and 3D printers hitting the homes, your neighbor's kid can make a copy of your house key? Yeah? Even high-security keys can be copied. This means that anybody that had access to your house key could have made a copy from the former tenant that was living there, former cleaning employee, and you wouldn't even know. If they get into your home, go out, you wouldn't even know. The sense of safety when you're buying such a high security system is gone now for the customer. We bring a solution to that. The stealth key. It's a mechanical key which hides the security features inside of it. You cannot see the security features, you cannot copy them, you cannot scan them. We embrace the threat of 3D printing to create, by 3D metal printing, the solution. It has no electronics, no magnets. Just pure, reliable, and secure mechanics. And I know what you're probably thinking right now. I read that in the future all locks will be electronic and we will open the house with a smartphone, right? True, that's pretty cool, very convenient. But when we're talking about security, it's a no-go. First of all, it can be easily hacked. Second, it's more expensive, 5 times more expensive, and then, like Ottego mentioned, you need to have a battery in the cylinder unless you harvest the energy. So that's every year, every 2 years changing it, not good. But for me, what really, really kills electronic lock is that in my experience, my lock at home, my mechanical lock, during 20 years, it never ever failed a single time. Not once. It cannot fail. And I don't know how's your experience with that, but in my case, my electronic experience tells me it's not going to happen. So let's say the security and the reliability comes with the mechanical part of locks. And having a stealth key that is 3D printed from metal means that you have a lot of advantages from the manufacturing point of view. Normally a key industry, a key factory, has this size, like this room, with 5 different machines to manufacture the key blanks, do the holes, all that. Suddenly, you just need one machine with powder metal and a laser. The machine is like this couch, maybe a little bit bigger, and produces all keys in one go. Each key completely different. Code, holes, everything. That's the beauty of 3D metal printing.
Unfortunately, you are out of time. 2.5 minutes goes by so fast. I hope you got enough in there for our jury. Let's see what questions they have left. No questions from the jury? Oh, there we go, Ulrich Dietz.
When do you will go to the market with this product?
Could you repeat again?
When will you go to the market with this product?
We want to do it in 2 parallel strategies. One together with one of the big players for the housing industry, or 2 of the players, and on ourselves in the niche market by the beginning of 2017. That would be for very particular high security applications where key duplication is critical.
Okay, Frank from Accenture.
How long does it take to print a key, and how do you get the printing devices out to make this a mass product?
The last part?
How do you get the printers out to make this a mass product?
Okay, let me see if I understand. So about the time it takes, that's one of the most exciting questions, because it takes today to make 1,000 keys 12 hours in a machine with 2 lasers. But as Trump will know, the evolution of 3D metal printing means that there are already 4 lasers, machines with 4 lasers, and so on. About how do we make it into serial production? We are certainly exploring that part. First of all, you need the software to make the keys automatically. Then you need to take them out and then do the post-processing to take away a little bit of the surface roughness. But that's something we need to explore in more detail. True.
Okay, next question. Anything else? All right, you've satisfied the jury. I think we are going to say goodbye to Urban Alps. Thank you very much for your pitch. Let's bring up our last startup, also in the category of Photonics 4.0, Zarion. Ah, you're taking a shortcut. I like the way you think. Here you go.
Hi. Dear ladies and gentlemen, for the last roughly 100 years, all microphones have been based on moving parts, such as membranes. We follow a different approach for the optical microphone. Our sensor detects sound based on its ability to change the speed of light. Yes, sound really can change the speed of light. Now, what's it good for? There is, maybe you're thinking, okay, microphone is good for music recording, but that's not what we do. There is 3 fields of application we see for our device. By the way, that's how it looks. First, medical imaging. We've all seen these kind of blurry ultrasonic imaging. What if we could increase sharpness to reduce misdiagnosis? Zarion is currently producing the most sensitive ultrasonic sensor in the world. You can read all about it in the recent journal publication of the US journal Biomedical Optics Express from last week. Second, industrial process control. It turns out that almost any industrial process can be monitored by simply listening to it. It's like a real-time ultrasonic fingerprint. Now, if humans have about this hearing range, then dogs and bats hear about this wide, then our nearest competitor has about this frequency range, so this is our frequency range. 3, aerospace testing. Our sensor can make something like an equivalent of an ultrasonic X-ray. So you can check, for instance, the wing of an airplane to check for internal damage. Even future applications are thinkable in consumer electronics, for instance. For the time being, we focus on B2B applications. We are a team of 15 based in Vienna, founded 2012. We are very proud to have Mr. Porsche from the car manufacturer's family to be our major shareholder, and Professor Hensch, Nobel laureate, as a leader of our advisory board. And to finish off, Zarion's award-winning technology is protected by granted patents in Europe, US, China, Korea, and Japan. And our first customers are Siemens, Fraunhofer, CERN, Zeiss, and others. Thank you very much.
All right, ending right on the money, Zarion. Jury, what do you want to ask him?
Thank you.
Questions? Richtig.
When are you ready to bring this product into mass production?
So at this time, this sensor is sold at several thousand euros, including the electronics, so it's an expensive device, and the markets we're targeting are ready to pay this price, as our first sales show. But we can use wafer optics to reduce the cost. So basically, it's like a smartphone camera optics, and you can produce up to 5,000 pieces on a wafer. So this will reduce the cost. We already did 2 rounds of samples, and we had, we talked to Samsung. Huawei just paid us a visit last week, so there is options to go for that. But it's, I think, nothing a startup should do. I think that's something we should license out, the technology, and license our patents. And we, as a small company, should probably focus on B2B and industrial or medical segment, but just as a sensor supplier.
Any other questions? Okay, Zara, and you've satisfied the judges. Thank you very much for your pitch in the field of Photonics 4.0. I'll take that. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 amazing startups, only one of them can win. Dear jury members, I do not envy you the task of having to decide who is going to get that 30,000 euro prize money that comes with the Code N award. They'll spend the afternoon deliberating. We'll be moving to some other stages. We will meet back here tonight at 6:30 p.m. for the Code N award show. I hope to see you then. For now, thank you very much for being with me on the main stage. I'll see you soon.